Hello and welcome. This is Dr. Divvy for your podcast, Ease into Clarity, also known as The Shift Happens with Dr. Divvy. As you know, we're going through a name change, and thank you so much for being with me. We're doing the second podcast in the series on abundance, so welcome. Whenever I do these podcasts, I always try to tell you a little bit about me, what I'm up to, what's going on in my personal, emotional, mental, spiritual life. As you know, I'm a physician turned intuitive coach turned spiritual teacher, and I'm so grateful that you listen to this podcast. Thank you. One of my goals in these podcasts is to give you little nuggets or things that really will help you, regardless if you're listening to this in January 2026 or January 2028. Regardless, these nuggets are really going to support you. Now, what can I ask back from you? Three big things. Number one, share my podcast. That really increases the number of people who watch and listen to it. Number two, give me a review. That hopefully is a good review. 5 stars would be even better. Number three, if you're watching this on YouTube, same idea. And putting a comment apparently increases your podcast stuff. So take a second, close your eyes, and take a breath. If you're walking or driving, obviously you're not going to close your eyes, but just spend a few minutes taking a long breath in and take a slow breath out. Take a deep breath in and a quiet breath out. Let's just be here for a few minutes. Spending time being still is a form of abundance. Being aware of the oxygen entering the base of your ribs is a form of abundance. Being present in the now is a form of abundance. So let's just be here for a few minutes. Beautiful. Notice how different you feel. It's just a few seconds. Amazing. And at the end, I'll tell you what more you can do if you want to do deeper work with me. But let's dive in. Today, I want to focus on two main topics around abundance. One is receiving, and the other one is gratitude. We alluded to them in the first podcast a couple of weeks ago, but I want to dive in deeper. Abundance cannot occur if we struggle with receiving. Why is that? Because receiving is actually an energy. Letting things in is actually an energy. And we want to remind ourselves that in Divvy's world, in the metaphysical model, the only thing that actually provides is the universe. We think of abundance in the way of our jobs, working hard. But what if abundance is actually the universe giving to you? So let's spend a few minutes talking about receiving. If you've ever come to one of my workshops, I often teach this giving and receiving exercise. And a lot of people tell me giving, no problem, but receiving is hard. Let's talk about why receiving is hard. The biggest reason is it sits in our subconscious. Sometimes we're taught that we can't receive, that it's shameful to receive, that we're not worthy, that if it's received, then we'll be dependent on that, and that would be bad. Sometimes we're afraid of receiving because we've been received in the past, we were disappointed. Sometimes we're afraid that if I receive, then I haven't worked hard enough because I was taught I have to earn everything. And heaven forbid I ask for too much. So these are just a few of the really simple reasons why we resist. Got it? And I'm sure you've got more that are popping into your head. But the more we resist abundance, the more your nervous system actually shuts down. Receiving is an energy where your heart is open, where you're trusting, where you're allowing, where you're saying, I don't have any strings attached. I'm open to receive. And so the more you work with the heart energy and grounding and safety, the easier it gets. You may know that in a class I teach called the Inner Temple, I teach a lot about the Divine Mother. There's a Divine Mother called Goddess Lakshmi in the Hindu faith, Laxmi or Lakshmi, same name, different spelling. The Divine Mother never looks at us in unworthiness. The Divine Mother only sees us in our incorruptible innocence. The Divine Mother only sees us in our infinite love. The Divine Mother does not withhold. She does not say you're worthy or not. She never questions it. She never questions if you deserve to watch a sunrise. She never questions if it's okay for you to breathe. The Divine Mother loves you that much, and she does not ask you to prove your worth when it comes to abundance. And if you've ever done any work with me, and you're not on my school community, SKOOL, please join me there. We talk a lot about forgiveness. Forgiveness is not, I forgive you, Dad, for what you did. Forgiveness is a forgiving a thought, a return to your divine essence. Your divine essence is allowed to receive. Your divine essence has no limitations on worthiness. Your divine essence doesn't doubt and won't fixate on lack. So forgiving any of those thoughts I just shared with you that resist receiving, working with the Divine Mother actually starts to undo it. And we'll do some practices at the end. Besides receiving, I also want to talk about gratitude. Gratitude is a huge part when it comes to abundance. Huge. Gratitude is not pretending everything is fine. Gratitude is not forcing positivity. Gratitude is not saying it to minimize pain. Gratitude brings you into alignment. Gratitude brings you peace. Gratitude is here so that what we focus on, we make bigger. And what I'm grateful for is not necessarily the things or the money or lack of in my bank account. Gratitude is focusing on presence. It's focusing on awareness. It's focusing that love is always there. Gratitude does not attract abundance to you. Gratitude knows abundance is already there. Gratitude is not about saying thank you for what I have, but it's about saying life is supporting me. So here's an example. Right now, I am grateful that I have a chair that supports me. Right now, I'm grateful that there's oxygen that can enter my body. Right now, I'm grateful that I have a computer and internet, and I am present with each of you. Gratitude takes us deeper into that flow. So now if I connect receiving with manifestation, let's go back to that. People think, especially in January, okay, I'm going to go manifest this. I'm going to manifest that. But like we talked about, we can't receive. People struggle with receiving. So receiving has to occur before we can manifest. Cool? And if you struggle with receiving, here's a couple really quick tips. Can you receive this compliment I'm going to give you right now? You are worthy. And do you notice if your mind shoves it away? Can you receive a compliment somebody might give you for the way your hair looks? Are you allowing yourself to receive love and help and support? Are you really allowing yourself to receive the universe talking to you and told you to put on this podcast? This willingness to receive is everything. And we don't have to, I can receive, today's a very foggy day in Vancouver. I can receive how beautiful the fog looks out my window. I can receive the joy that there's sun behind those fogs. I can receive the chlorophyll that's in the tree that then creates oxygen that I can breathe. I can receive this moment that you and I get to do this lovely dance together. And the more I do that, the easier it gets. The easier it gets, the easier it gets. Just breathe for a few minutes. Receiving is a natural state. Now, one last thing I want to teach you. I alluded to it earlier. Forgiveness is a return to who you are in your true divine state. Forgiveness is not forgiving your father for what he did or didn't do, or mother. Forgiveness is forgiving a thought so you can return to your divine essence. So how do you work with that when it comes to receiving? Let's do this exercise together, and you can do this with your eyes open or eyes closed. As you breathe, bring in the Divine Mother, Goddess Lakshmi. You can look up her picture online. She holds gold and beauty and charm and love. And all you have to do is look at her eyes. Take a few breaths. And breathe. Good work. Keep breathing. And all you need to do is to look at her and simply say, Divine Mother Lakshmi, I see you there. I see your hands are folded out in front of me. I wish to forgive myself for this thought that I can't receive. I wish to forgive myself for this thought that I am not capable. I wish to forgive myself for the thought that I have to earn to relax. Put whatever thoughts you want to give her that you're ready to release. Forgive me that I struggle with receiving this love. Please help me, Divine Mother. So as you identify the thoughts that you want to give her, be open that the Divine Mother, her job is to do the forgiveness. Your only job is to give it to her, ask for help with forgiveness, and receive the antidote, receive her message. So with your eyes closed or eyes open, you can visualize Goddess Lakshmi standing in front of you. And you put into her palms all those disbeliefs as to why you can't receive the abundance that you're allowed to have. And as you look at her, you simply say, Divine Mother, please help me to forgive myself. These are lies that I took on. They are a form of self-attack. Please help me to forgive myself, because this is blocking me from the love from you. I give this to you. And as I release this grievance against myself, I am open to a miracle. Take a few breaths. Just breathe. Keep breathing. As you breathe, you may have the subtlest shift in your heart. You may notice your shoulders soften. You may notice your breath deepen. That is the shift. That is the miracle. And even if you did not receive that, the fact that you did this means it's coming. Take a few more breaths and go to open your eyes. Beautiful. That is how we start to shift and work with the Divine Mother. And we recognize the lies we're told around receiving. And the receiving gets easier and gratitude gets easier. Thank you so much for joining me for this podcast. And I wanted to share with you what I'm up to in my business and my life. You may know I now have a 19-week-old black lab whose name is JJ Jr., who is the apple of my eye. In the physical business of my life, you're more than welcome to join me for a retreat I've got coming up, February 7th and 8th in White Rock. I would love to have you. The other options, if you want to work with me online, I have space in my relationships and group coaching class, which is on Tuesdays at 12. I have a few spots in my entrepreneur group on Fridays at 10, both Pacific. I'm sending you so much love and would love to have you in either those containers or my inner temple. Join me in school. I got lots of options. So I'm sending you so much love and thank you so much for joining me. Have a beautiful day.